to the Rapport by Lily Grace podcast, MaiLinh Ho. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
You flew in from DC?
Yes, that's right.
Oh my gosh. How are you loving Boston? You're back at your old campus?
It feels amazing. It's a bit cold, but I heard this is one of the nicer days that you guys have had, so I'm glad to be enjoying that.
Totally.
And I just love Boston.
Yeah.
I was here for college, and it feels really nostalgic to be back.
So just for background, MaiLinh and Lucas Machado went to college together, hence us finding each other. Lucas has been on this podcast. He was on the last episode about AI. He's been on a few times before. And for context, we're sitting in Modern Wellness.
Yes.
Which is so beautiful. Yeah. So shout out to Lucas for letting us vibe here. It's such a good atmosphere. We have great lighting today. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
But I really am so curious to talk to you because you are in the tech space. Mm-hmm. You are in the startup world.
Yeah.
And I think it's all fascinating, and like the amount of work and energy that Lucas has told me that you've put into this business, Gateway, is amazing. So I'm really excited to learn more about that. Before we dive into it, though, I want to learn more about your background.
Yeah.
He's alluded to some parts of it, but I'd love to hear from the source. MaiLinh, what is your background, and how did you get to this place today?
Thank you for that question. So I am the youngest of 6 siblings.
Wow.
Altogether, we are from Vietnam. So I was born and raised there until I was 11.
Wow.
And then I came to the US, particularly the DC area, when I was 11. Yeah, so for school, 6th grade, 7th grade. And for me, it was my first time like moving away from home. It was a shock, like culture shock wise. In Vietnam, it's very homogeneous, and I was close with all my friends. My family was there, but because being the youngest of 6, all of my other siblings went to study abroad before me. So it was great to have them as my guiding lights and just mentors, really, away from home. So being here, it was when I discovered my love for different cultures and really entrepreneurship. So our parents are both entrepreneurs.
Wow.
They my dad was actually a taxi driver, and my mom was an educator, then worked in the government. They met each other, and then they started a business together.
Wow.
Yeah. So at a young age, I was always intrigued by it. I was always around it, but they were hoping that I would become a doctor. But that didn't happen. Yes, yeah.
Makes sense. Oh my gosh. And they're both Vietnamese and grew up there.
Yes.
That's amazing.
They're both Vietnamese. And for us, it's, Vietnam had a tough history, and being able to get really high quality education was always a core value for my mom especially, and my dad. And so that's why they sent us away at a very young age.
Wow. And what was it like coming over as a preteen? 11 years, that's very impressionable. You're not a baby, you're taking in everything. Was it scary, or were you very excited?
Honestly, for me, and now looking back, it makes sense. At the time when my mom told me, I remember distinctively, we were in the car ride home. It was dark outside. And my mom had said, hey, like next year, I want you to go to the US where your siblings are to study. And I'm like naturally, I'm a quiet person. So I just kind of took in. I was like, really? and the first thought was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to leave my friends. But then I trusted my mom. I've always had, and I knew it was going to be good. She's always very persuasive too. So she was like, this is for your education, for your life. And so I was like, okay, maybe it will be fine. So it was a kind of calm, nervous. And then when I came here, I was terrified.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. And how did you start your entrepreneurial journey once you were here in America? Were you always that way from a young age and starting to build, or did it really start during college?
This is a great question. I think for me, it was during high school that I then started to think about what careers and what college, right, that I wanted to go to. And I was involved in this nonprofit called AA Success, so Asian American Success. And it was started by a local Vietnamese leader who's also an entrepreneur. And through that, I was exposed to different facets of business and also community organizing. So I then realized I really love innovation and doing things differently, helping to put together like initiatives and fundraising, things like that. So, and with my parents' background, I knew I wanted to create my own legacy, but I just didn't know what. I knew I wanted to do that. So I remember when it came time for applying to college, I had looked up like best school for entrepreneurship. And of course, Babson College came up. Yes. I was like, oh my gosh, all right, let me look into the requirements. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's green. And our company, our family business is all about green. Our family is all about green. So everything kind of just came together and got accepted, got a full ride scholarship. So it was a no-brainer to go there. And that's when it kind of just blossomed.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. And for people listening today who are on their own entrepreneurial journey, I feel like that's a lot of my listeners. What's one piece of advice that you could give them? Because we're going to get into the journey during and post-college, but as an early entrepreneur, before you dove completely into it, like what's a good piece of advice?
I think for my journey, I couldn't be where I am if not for my sister and my partner. So a little bit about Gateway. I started Gateway with my older sister. Yep. And we have adapted and pivoted so many times. And through it, we had to trust in each other. Yeah. So for me, it's finding the right partner. And I know it's tough. Not everyone has a sibling that they want to work with, especially.
Very lucky.
But yes, it's finding the right partner.
Yeah. And tell me about your sister. She's older than you. Yeah. How did that conversation start? And how'd you know she was the right sibling to partner with?
I know.
Out of the six,
out of the five. So it was during COVID that me and my sister then had to kind of go back to our family home in Virginia. Sure. And at the time, I was about to graduate college. And for her, she just came back from Vietnam. She was working in our family business. So she came back for her MBA program and to have a family as well. Yeah, so she married her husband at that time. And so for us, you know, we've always talked about one day we want to do something together. And we actually, during college, there was a family entrepreneurship course that I pulled her into. I'm like, hey, you are the representative that I want to work with.
I love it.
Yeah. And we've always gotten along really well. And so it was, again, a no-brainer to just partner up and see, okay, what kind of problems do we really want to solve? Because I think during COVID, too, like just bringing us back to that point, we were all questioning, what do I want to spend my life doing? Yeah. What is my mission? You know, how do I want to make a difference?
Yeah. So, and take us back to those early years. Yeah. What were the first initial iterations and problems that you were trying to solve?
Yeah. So in the beginning of Gateway, because a lot of the people that we knew, and especially the young talents that were coming up, right? So students and parents, families that we knew, a lot of their internships were getting canceled. Oh. So that was when we both had transformational internships. It helped us to get to where we are and helped us to learn and grow. So we looked at that and we were asking ourselves, you know, how can we help them be prepared for this world, ever-changing world? So the beginning of Gateway was we went to different students that we knew, really listened to them. Like, what do you need help on? And they wanted an escape from the virtual classes they were in. They wanted to get experience. They wanted to learn. But then the organization side, so that's when we leverage our professional network and connections to then talk to entrepreneurs, business owners that we knew, managers, and be like, hey, like, would you take these students if we train them up, really get them prepared so that you are adding both to each other's lives, and it's a win-win, right? So that's when we started to do like an internship program. It was from the beginning of if a student didn't know what they were interested in, helping them with career exploration. So we did boot camps, helping them with, what career should you be looking at, right? Because by 2030, and now we're really close.
Yes.
it's going to be different. And then, we just started to work with companies to develop those programs.
So you were really leaning into the college-age students.
Actually, high school.
Or high school.
Yeah, high school and college.
That's amazing. Yeah. Okay, so that's cool. And then what was the transformational internship that you had?
So it was during the A Success when I was in my sophomore, junior year of college, of high school. And I had interned at my mentor's creative agency. It's called PSK Creative in Virginia. So he's an entrepreneur, and he had a partner as well. And I just shadowed them, helped them create videos, content, marketing stuff, and coming up with ideas on how they can, generate more leads and things like that. And so I took that experience, and during the first year of college, we have this program at Babson called FME. It's where Foundations of Management and Entrepreneurship. So everyone kind of band together and create businesses.
Fun.
Yeah, with like strangers that you've never met before. So I remember talking to my group, and I was like, hey, a lot of companies are doing product-based businesses, right? Being able to, actually Lucas had a sticker company, which is really cool. Printed customized stickers. Wow. And other companies were inventing like a new way to travel with suitcases that are multifunctional. So all of these things. And I didn't want us to compete against the same community that everyone's trying to sell to, which is students. I was like, I've done this where marketing agency, right, targeting small businesses.
Correct.
We're in Wellesley. There's so many small businesses here that can get overlooked, and people go straight to Boston.
Right.
So I was like, why don't we become like a marketing agency to small businesses? And so we had amazing team members too who were really strong in marketing. We came up with the name called Giving Life to Business.
To small businesses. That's GLSB. Amazing. And as someone who has a marketing agency for small businesses, I'm like, yes, girl.
Yes, speaking your language.
Yeah. That's amazing. I love hearing the nitty-gritty of the early stages. Yeah. And then fast forwarding to today, you are now in the realm with Gateway and your sister, being the co-founder in the AI world.
Yes.
So talk to us about your mission and how this now is a AI learning platform.
Yes. So for my sister and I, we've always been really keen on how do we help people learn better and faster. Because at the basis of everything is all about knowledge, and how do you apply that knowledge into your role. We're all about productivity and efficiency. So it started with us just manually helping companies create really awesome training programs that are role specific, right? That was the missing piece. A lot of time, HR onboarding kind of covers the compliance and all the necessary things, but then the HR kind of then transfer your new hires to you, and then now you and your team are responsible for onboarding and training them, and it becomes a chaos at that point. So for us, that's our mission, is how do we help teams and their people learn better and faster? And because we've done it manually, we started to gather these instructional design best practices. How do you help people actually learn? Break down the information to the foundational level. And that's when AI also started to really, generative AI started to become popular. And we knew that in order to get to the personalization and customization that we have been doing manually, is we needed to leverage AI. So that's when we actually just launched our fully AI native platform that automates a lot of the workflows that we have been doing manually.
Okay, that's amazing. And you talk about turning SOPs and tribal knowledge into short interactive journeys that shorten the ramp of time and lift performance across onboarding, training, and customer education. Can you talk to me about the tribal knowledge piece? That to me is so fascinating.
Yes. So for you, you've had so many years and your expertise that lives inside your mind, right? It's when people ask you about it, then you can share your experience and your knowledge. When we think about how do we extract that tribal knowledge, that institutional knowledge that comes with experience and with people, it's been through meetings, right? One-on-one or group meetings where we share that. Now we have meeting note takers, which are great. It can transcribe that and summarize it, give you key points. So that's one way to transfer knowledge. The other way is sometimes people would do a brain dump out. So then that can become SOPs, or sometimes it doesn't even get to SOP and then they need to move on to the next thing. So that tribal knowledge can live in so many different places.
Yes.
And then once you're ready to onboard someone or train or upskill someone, then sometimes those content are outdated.
Yeah.
Right?
All the time.
All the time. Yeah. Especially now. So that tribal knowledge is being able to take scattered information across different sources, one, so that you can see what's available. And then you as a manager or a team leader, then you can use our platform to do voice to text.
Oh, wow.
And then, or you can type it out, whatever you want to then create kind of the most up-to-date learning journey and keep it maintained.
Yeah. And do you see this being targeted to any specific types of businesses? Is this for colleges or like all of the above?
Yeah. So, I mean, that has been a journey for us to figure out is who is our target audience. And it kind of changed along the way. And for us right now, we are really focused on technical teams.
That makes sense.
Yes. Industrial engineering type of industries where information is so complex. Processes it needs to be precise. There's so many layers of information and quality management. So that's where we see teams really needing a tool like ours.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. And I have my boyfriend's in software. My sister's a civil engineer. That is that world to me. It's very confusing, but also very interesting because you're right. It's so complex. And these are the things that they need to streamline in order to train up the next generation or the next level of engineers. So that's really cool.
Absolutely. And I think those type of industries, because it's so hard to get it right, it's also been underserved too in terms of knowledge transfer and, documentation.
Right.
There are 200-page manuals. How does someone really digest that?
No, 100%. And even things that to me is very logistical, technical, but even skills that are more soft skills. It's like being in sales and being a psychology teacher, like whatever that may look like. It's like a lot of these soft skills are not being transferred to young people, especially college, high school age students. And I wonder how that looks in our future as well, whether it be a solution like this or something else. It's like really just transferring that knowledge to the next generation.
So because we started our work in education, we work with students even as early as 13 years old. And we taught at Virginia Tech doing workforce development and helping them to, I think it should be a blended learning approach. We should always have really engaging live hands-on instruction because that can, one, get people in the room, right? Carve out that time, get everyone together, get thoughts and ideas flowing, engagement. And then people are often left wondering afterwards, like, oh, you mentioned that resource. Or, I want to look into that. That's where the power of technology, I think, can be blended in to give them that resources that is personalized so that they can always continue their journey.
Yeah, for sure. And getting in the weeds with you for a second, you the one doing the coding here? Like, I'm just so fascinated by it because my boyfriend's a coder. I'm like, whoa.
Yes.
And I'm like, you must be a genius and totally technical. Talk to me about that journey.
Yes. So as a chief product officer, I manage and I built, let's say, even our prototype, our MVP, and then now our V1, like Gateway 2.0 platform. I have a right-hand person, our software developer, who's amazing. So I work closely with him. I build alongside him as well. And even, on the customer success side, so I oversee that too, just to make sure we're aligning everything we're building.
Wow. And then where does your sister's role come in as well?
So as a CEO, she is really the face of the company in terms of selling, getting out there, marketing us. So she works with our go-to-market advisor and our marketing consultant as well to make sure like everything that we put out to the world and also that we're building, right? Because she's talking to potential customers every day and she can get the signals like way ahead of me. I'm like, all right, these are already our customers. We still need to make sure they're happy. They keep coming back, but how do we grow as a company? So she's thinking about those things, and I always thank her. I'm like, thank you for doing what you do, because it gives me, the time and space to do what I need to do.
You're specialized in your areas of expertise. And how is it working with your sister? Like, do you see each other a lot? Does she live close by and you're always like bouncing off each other? I have a little sister and she works with me in my marketing business, but more so just part-time. Like, it's not our full-time gig yet, but it's so interesting having that dynamic. Like, sometimes it is hard to switch it on and off.
What's your age gap?
5 years.
5 years. Mine is 6 years.
Okay. So same. And you're the younger one.
I'm the younger one. So maybe
is there some tension there sometimes? Because for me, I'm just bossy and I feel bad sometimes for my sister. But
well, I'll say it from my perspective because she's out here to defend herself. But just kidding. So for us, we as sisters, we get along really well.
That's
like
great.
Normally, we usually don't have arguments. Maybe there were some points I'm just like, oh, that's annoying or whatever. So then when we started working together, that was when we realized how different we are in working styles. And in the beginning, it was definitely a struggle to have really rich and fruitful conversations that move the needle forward without misunderstandings. But then because of that cycle in the beginning of figuring out the business and figuring out how to work with each other, we then became stronger because of that. Yes. And we understand now how to work with each other and how to let each other, really grow into our domains and utilize our strengths and trust in each other. So for Hanlin and I now, we still get into disagreement, right? It's healthy. We have diverse perspectives and sometimes opposing perspectives, but we always manage to go back to, hey, I'm so thankful for you. I trust you. And, and keeping each other honest. She's very, she is more intuitive than me, where I can be, I'm still a feeling-based person, but I tend to kind of remove myself from the situation. Again, that dichotomy, right, is very helpful. So it's reminding ourselves to listen to each other.
That's so important. And a lot of people listening might be in a partnership for business or are working with their siblings or their parents. Like sometimes it can be a little difficult. And I think especially for entrepreneurs who are not in a partnership, they're just running their own ship. It's scary to think about having someone else. And a lot of times it's probably a really high percentage, probably more than 60% of the partnerships fall apart, just because it's hard. So I think it's very impressive, like especially working with your sister and seeing that flourish and grow and building upon that. That's amazing.
Absolutely. And I think it's timing too.
Yes.
Because she was at a point in her life where she was ready for a change. If she was still in Vietnam, I couldn't have done anything with her, and that would be it.
Wow.
But I'm also at a time in my life where I can put 100% into, business. She does have 2 little kids.
Wow.
And so sometimes, I think this is the beauty of it, where because they're my niece and nephew, and I feel so comfortable with all of them. We've had meetings where we've met in the playroom. Yeah, and we're like sitting on little chairs and little desks, and they're like coming in every 2 minutes, and it's, for me, it's understanding that, hey, let's embrace that. Right, this is building our focus, for example.
Totally. And I appreciate you bringing us to that moment, because I feel like also too, a lot of my listeners are parents or going to be parents or have even distracting pets or parents or whatever. And it's just helpful to realize that entrepreneurship is glamorized, and it's not always like this and beautiful and easy.
It's never like this, except for when we're doing a podcast
with the cameras rolling. But if we were to go behind the scenes, it's messy.
It's so messy. It's you're doing the things that you're like bending backwards for your clients and people that you're serving.
Totally. And what has been the biggest lesson for you about having a startup?
That's a good question. I think the biggest lesson for me is being able to admit when you're wrong or when you need to open up your mind, right, to different ways of doing things. And I mean, that's really the core of entrepreneurship, is you're trying to kind of break things and move fast and solve problems. And I think with humans, like, there's also this, again, like a dichotomy of believing in yourself, right? And knowing that this is the right thing, this is what people need, but then being agile enough to then listen. So I think the biggest lesson for me is how do you close that feedback loop between you, your team, your customers, but doing so in a way where it's, you're still accountable. Yes. And it's not that, I am, I didn't know this, right? But I think one of the things that I love about my team is I'm able to admit when I'm like, that was my fault, and I take accountability for that. And then for them to also be like, this is what I learned. Yeah, that's amazing. And with Gateway 2.0, the platform that you just launched, what is an exciting part about this launch, and how do you see the future growing from this point? Yeah, so I think what's really exciting is some of our early users are doing things that they have never done before. Okay. And I think that's the cool thing about AI and, softwares, that people are experimenting, people are building, people are letting their agents do their thing and coming back and checking in on them. And also they're figuring out what doesn't work. Yeah. Right. So for us, it's like, even though, this new platform has already solved for a lot of the challenges that, I wish I had when I was creating these content for our customers, it's still like, oh, okay, here's an area where we really need to redesign. I'm not sure how yet, but, we'll figure it out. And then this is like, okay, I know exactly like what we need to do to, it's like low hanging fruits. So I think most exciting thing for me is seeing how people are using it and getting all the feedback, positive and constructive, and being able to move fast. Wow. And in Lucas's podcast, we were talking about AI and how innovators like yourself and him and us were starting to learn, embrace it, and move quickly and just experiment. But a lot of people are very hesitant about it. Yes. So what would you say to the people who are listening who are a little bit like, I don't really understand, and I'm scared to be that experimenter when it comes to AI, just in general? I think in general, it's another tool. right? It's just like this chair.
Yeah.
Maybe you're more hesitant on a really innovative chair. Maybe ergonomic chairs were pretty innovative back then. But it's only, it will only be part of your life if you just use it or try to an extent.
Yes.
Right? So AI, there's so many ways that you can get into it. Of course, GPT came out, now Claude Cowork and Claude Code, and then, platforms like ours that builds an architecture around AI that makes it safe for you to experiment and, being able to grow with it. So I think it's keeping an eye out for what really solves your problem, and just like trying a little bit, like dipping your feet in the water. It's funny, I'll go back to this because my sister and I and her husband were here.
Okay. Yep.
Yesterday at Modern Wellness, we had a full day.
Love it.
I've been here before, so I've also done cold plunges before. But for both my sister and her husband, they've never done cold plunges.
Wow.
So I was like, you guys, you must try.
You have to.
You have to. And of course, they were like, I'm not sure. I want to enjoy a spa day. But I mean, Modern Wellness is like a longevity spa. You're trying to challenge your body in that contrast therapy. So, I'll say for my sister, it was seeing that other people have done it, like me and Lucas and her husband did it right before. Okay. And she was asking questions of like, oh, what did it do for you? What do you think was good about that? And, would you do it again? And like, she really took in that information and then she made a decision for herself that, I'm going to do it. And she was a champ.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
I was a little struggling because my feet get really cold. It's like hurting. But she was in there and she could have gone for more.
Oh my gosh.
But I think it's the mental preparation. Yeah. Some people are, if you are a little bit more nervous or more hesitant about trying something new, it's learning.
Yeah. No, that's huge. And that's the point of this podcast and these shows, especially. Because I say if there's fear, like lean into it and learn and discover. Because like you were even saying, like your clients are testing out your platform and trying crazy things that they haven't tried before, leaving the agent to do the work that they used to do, then coming back and seeing if it's right or wrong. Like it's uncomfortable psychologically to just walk away from the things that you're normally used to be doing. So it's just this psychological shift that we're going through, or some people are deciding to go through. And eventually I think all of society will be forced to go through, whether we like it or not. But I think maybe for the better, hopefully, so we can do more of this biohacking stuff.
And I just want to say, like, patience is so important. I think for entrepreneurs, like even moms, like everyone, right? We're leading really busy lives, and sometimes we get impatient.
Yes.
And I think
I'm there.
I'm there too. So I have to remind myself and everyone else is, hey, like it used to take so much more to do what we can do now.
You're so right.
And it's being patient with ourselves and others. Give others the grace. We're all trying our best.
Yeah, no, it's so true. And how do you stay sane, balanced, and healthy throughout your whole entrepreneur journey?
I really lean into my support system. So of course my sister, and a lot of time when I call her, I'm like, hey, can I just have a few minutes? Like I'm really struggling about this, or I'm feeling like this. And she always start with, I'm really glad you called me. And it kind of lives off a way of like, okay, of course we don't want to bother people.
Sure.
We don't want to, take up their time. But I lean into my sister, friends like Lucas, and even my parents. So whenever I'm in a struggle, I think back about my parents. I'm like, they've gone through so much more.
Gosh.
So for me to go through these struggles that are like modern day struggles.
Wow.
Like they've been through wars, right? And, women didn't have the same rights back then. So I think it's reminding myself of like taking myself out of the moment a little bit, like macro level. right, it's not that bad.
Yeah. I can see you're a very grateful person. You have a good perspective on life.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that's so important. I feel like also to surround yourself with like-minded individuals like Lucas. Like, he just gives me life every time I talk to him.
Yes.
And it's like people like that. It's like bring out the best in you. And that's
people.
the important part of this journey, I feel like.
Yeah, it's the human aspect of it, where honestly, sometimes I talk to my AI too about problems. It helps me to gain clarity.
Yes.
So I think it's all about externalizing, of course, internalizing first, so that you kind of know what you're going through internally, but then is voicing it.
Yeah, no, that's huge. I also speak to my AI, whether it be like personal problems or business problems. It's just nice to have that thing, or I just call Lucas. He needs like a hotline. But yeah, like having those people in your life is so important. Thank you so much for talking about your whole journey today and Gateway and the exciting launch of your 2.0 platform. How can people connect with you and find you if they're interested in learning more?
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. I am /MaiLinh Tranho. I'm sure you'll include that. And I would say check out our website, careergateway.io. We're always looking for feedback. We really like building with our community and having people be part of our tribe, because we always go back to the people that we're building this for and this with. So connect with me on LinkedIn and our website.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
I'm glad the sun's coming out for you here in Boston.
Oh my goodness.
Even though it's a little cold still.
Yes, thank you for having me.
This
it was
so
a fun conversation.
I loved it. Thank you.
Thank you.